It's time for another Music History Minute. On February 21st, 1958, Gibson introduced their Flying V electric guitar. The Flying V was one of Gibson's answers to Fender's Stratocaster guitar, and it sold for $247.50. Prototypes of the guitar were made of mahogany, but when it went into production, they used Carina wood, which was lighter in weight and color than mahogany and better fit the aesthetic of the 1950s. Sales of the Flying V were a little slow to take off. In 1958, 81 were shipped, and in 1959, only 17 were shipped. In the early 1960s, 20 more were made out of leftover parts at the factory and shipped. Lonnie Mack and Albert King were among early adopters of the guitar, as was Dave Davies of the Kinks. And Dave is largely responsible for the guitar's popularity. When Davies flew to America for a promotional tour, the airline lost his guitar, and he purchased a Flying V as its replacement. He used the guitar in several TV appearances, and it made the cover of the Kinks' 1966 Greatest Hits album. This led Gibson to issue a new model of the guitar in 1966 with a few minor modifications. Jimi Hendrix is the most notable guitarist to adopt this new version. Even with all this exposure, it still took a little while for the V to gain popularity. In 1971, a special limited edition medallion version of the guitar was released. 350 of those were produced, but the guitar did not go back into regular production until 1975. Other notable guitarists to use the Flying V are Billy Gibbons, Rick Nielsen, Paul Stanley, Joe Perry, Lenny Kravitz, and of course, Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen used his first edition Flying V to record some of the songs for Van Halen's 1984 album. In 2024, I looked up the Flying V on Gibson's website, and they were selling for $10,000. Later, dudes.